Alrighty, hello. Good evening and welcome back to the Law Entrance YouTube channel and to another session of the Hindu analysis. Today is 19th of March 2026 and we are live. I hope I'm audible and visible to everyone. If you guys are here on the stream, can we have some responses in the chat box? Aradhya is here, Dhwani is here, Shaurya is here, Siddhi is here, Charmi is here. Very good evening, guys. Welcome to the stream. All right, ठीक है चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का डिस्कशन. यस द चैट इज विजिबल टुडे. वी आर कंप्लीटली लाइव. वो बस कल के लिए एक प्रोविजन था. did not want to skip yesterday's class, had to travel urgently, so I thought pre-record कर देते हैं class को. But yes, the chat box is completely visible. I can see Shreya, Parth, Aryan, Arshita, Bhamini. Very good evening, guys. Welcome to the stream. Start करते हैं आज का discussion. Let's begin. Gyanendra is here. Good evening. Let's go. So 3 articles on today's agenda. One is regarding demographic challenges. Demographic is related to population. Then we have an editorial which once again talks about the judicial transparency in context of the NCERT book ban, the 8th class textbook, which was banned recently by the Supreme Court. And then we have an article which talks about reducing child deaths in India. Apart from that, we have 7-8 more articles which we'll discuss on the newspaper itself. And of course, 3 new vocab words for the day. And I also want to remind you guys about tomorrow's quiz. So first quiz on the CL quizzing platform would be held tomorrow on the live stream after the session. Baki Telegram pe aapka roz live quiz chali raha hai, so please participate in that as well. But tomorrow would be our first ever CL quiz, not Menti quiz. We are moving to a different platform, an in-house platform, and it's going to be a fun quiz, so please come prepared. Shaurya is saying I need guidance in studying GK, but retention I'm not able to do it. Are you taking notes? Are you revising notes periodically? क्या दिक्कत आ रही है retention में बताओ. Bhaskar is here. Good evening, Bhaskar. How to join the quiz of CL कल ही बताऊंगा मैं आपको सारा पूरा process. I'll explain it to you guys. You just have to mark your attendance, come here on the live stream. We'll do it after our Hindu analysis discussion. So tomorrow's discussion would be a little bit fast paced and we'll try to keep it as brief as possible so that we have maximum time available for the quiz. So probably 30 to 35 minutes of Hindu analysis discussion and then approximately 20 minutes of quizzing. We'll have around 20 questions, all MCQ based questions, one right answer, no negative marking. And it's going to be a fun experience. So please come on time tomorrow. Shaurya is saying notes I'm taking, try to revise, but still new week load comes in. That's why you have to do periodic revision, right? For example, if you did current affairs for the first week of March, so the first time you revise it is after you're done with making the notes, then probably after 4-5 days, then probably again after 10-15 days. So you have to keep on, scheduling your revision. That is how you retain it. And try to do active recall. Once you read your notes, try to recall most of it without referring to the notes. So referring to the notes and then remembering, that's just revising and passive recall. Active recall is where you try to actively recall whatever you have studied. So let's say if you have studied that the new prime minister of Nepal is Balendra Shah, so the name should appear in your mind directly. And it's mostly factual information. It's not like you have to remember definitions or you have to remember long paragraphs. You just have to remember the keywords. And that, I believe, is something which you can definitely do with periodic revision and with active recall. बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कत हो रही है, then you can probably use techniques like flashcards or sticky notes, and you can put that information which you are not able to recall actively and look at it multiple times in a day. Try to feed that information, whichever you are studying, be it from a compendium, from a PDF, put it into Claude, ask it to ask multiple MCQ based questions based on that PDF. Use AI to your advantage. Don't use AI for primary studying. Use it for secondary studying in the manner that where you give it the information, you restrict it to use only that credible information and then ask you questions or make short notes for you. Okay? Where can we practice MCQs for them? And that's what I told, right? Use any good current affairs magazine, monthly magazine or weekly magazine, put it into any, AI software, be it GPT, be it Claude. I like Claude better than GPT. I feel the responses are much better, more humanized. And ask it to make MCQs for you. As simple as that. Sure is Riddhi saying you can use Anki. Anki is also a good software for retention. Usually UPSC aspirants use karte hain. But yeah, you can definitely try that. Gyanendra is saying what is important for MHCT GK, more static or more current affairs? Current affairs तो सब exams के लिए important है. Static also becomes relevant for MHCT. Static में I would suggest start with modern history. That usually sees multiple questions coming in almost every year. Then go to medieval history. Then go to geography of places which are in news. Then basic economics, basic science and technology. These are the things which you would cover first from your static perspective. उसके अलावा तो फिर static is a wide ocean, blue ocean. आप कितना भी कर लो, there can be a question which you have not read. So yeah, do the priority topics, do the previous year question paper analysis, and see which are the topics which are frequently asked, and do them first from a static POV. Current affairs तो आपको करनी है, ठीक है? All right, चलो, let's start today's discussion. Let's move to the newspaper, folks. Let's begin. This is the Hindu newspaper, 19th of March 22. India-bound ships on Hormuz, this is the state of Hormuz, of course, are on the evacuation list. They are being evacuated with the help of Indian naval vessels. And we recently were talking about an operation as well. What is the name of the operation which we started in 2019 to rescue Indian ships, Indian vessels? जल्दी से बताओ मुझे operation का नाम in the chat box. We all know Strait of Hormuz is a very important sea route जहाँ से बहुत सारा oil और natural gas pass on होती है, and because of the security concerns, because of the ongoing conflict, India is taking steps to protect these ships which are carrying energy supplies for us, right? What is the name of the operation? Operation Sankalp is the right answer, absolutely correct. सबसे पहले मुझे बताया अर्शिता ने, well done. Gyanendra is saying that's the point, previous year paper of MNCT is not available anywhere. हाँ, online होता है वो, तो it's a little tough to get the previous year paper. What you can do is कि काफ़ी सारे channels पे, even मेरे ख्याल से हमारे channel पे भी आपको analysis मिल जाएगा पेपर का, जिसमें we have memory based discussion on कि क्या क्या आया पेपर में, तो वो आप देख सकते हो, past year के analysis देख सकते हो, वहाँ पे लोगों ने discuss किया होता है कि इस type के questions आए. So you'll get a fair idea about it कि GK section कैसा आया था, ठीक है? That is one way to go about it. Alright, so हाँ, हम बात कर रहे थे इसकी that Indian ships which are carrying energy supplies, उनको protect करने के लिए 22 ships which are heading to India, उनको protect करने के लिए we are deploying naval vessels. इसमें energy supplies हैं हमारे लिए. 3 of them are LNG carriers, 10 LPG carriers, 7 are crude oil carriers, and और भी container ships वगैरह हैं. Multiple agencies like the Ports Ministry, Indian Navy, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, then Indian Ocean Region के साथ जो हमारे Information Fusion Center है, all of these are working. And 3 ships have already been safely escorted by the Indian Navy, the Shivalik, the Nanda Devi, and the Jagladki, which we discussed in the previous Hindu analysis. जिसमें LPG आ रहा था, they have already prepared for their ship-to-ship transfer on ports like the Mundra port, the Vadinar port, Kandla port, etc. इसी तरीके से under Operation Sankalp, India is continuing to do this rescue operations. Iran hits Gulf energy sites after attack on its gas field. In this picture, you can see people at the funeral of the recently passed away chief of security, who was Ali Larijani. तो उनके फ्यूनरल में यहाँ पे आपको लोग दिख रहे हैं. वी ऑल नो मिडिल ईस्ट में टेंशंस चल ही रही हैं, एंड यूएस और इजराइल ने जो है ईरान की गैस फैसिलिटीज पे अटैक किया था, एंड इन रिटेलिएशन ईरान ने वार्निंग दी थी कि हम भी आपके एनर्जी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को टारगेट करेंगे. क्या आ गया मेरे, जो कि उन्होंने किया भी है. And this definitely leads to a serious escalation in the conflict, which is now already spread to multiple countries. Iran reported that उन्होंने South Pars gas facility that was hit by US and Israel, and in retaliation they have hit the gas facilities in Qatar, especially the Ras Laffan industrial city, which has led to a lot of damage, but अभी कोई casualties की रिपोर्ट नहीं आई है. कतर ने कहा कि भाई ये हमारी sovereignty का violation है, this is a threat to national security. यानी कन्फ्लिक्ट जो है न्यूट्रल गल्फ कंट्रीज में जो है फैलता ही जा रहा है. इजराइल ऑल्सो किल्ड देयर इंटेलिजेंस मिनिस्टर रिसेंटली, हुज नेम वाज इस्माइल खातिब, was a third high profile Iranian figure. The first one was of course Ayatollah Khamenei, the second one whose picture you can see, whose funeral you can see here, Ali Larijani, and the third one is their intelligence minister Ismail Khatib. बाकी कुछ एक्सप्लोजन्स रियाद में भी सुनने को मिले, which is the capital of Saudi Arabia. They also intercepted some missiles, and yeah, the disruptions in global oil and gas supply and the fluctuations in fuel prices is of course happening as a result. So yeah, that's what's happening there. City-based news is not important. Delhi में एक multi-story building में आग लग गई पालम में, and 3 people got injured. 12 other got rescued. ठीक है. Let's move ahead. Jharkhand Assembly passes motion against the VBGRAMG. This is the bill which replaces which act? जल्दी से बताओ chat box में. This act rather, अब तो act हो गया. It replaces which earlier government scheme or act? कल के क्विज का टॉपिक अर्शिता इज करंट अफेयर्स फॉर द मंथ ऑफ जनवरी, फेब्रुअरी एंड हाफ ऑफ मार्च. सो टिल 15th of March, that's the topic for tomorrow's current affairs quiz. Is it pronounced Khamini or Khaminai? How does it even matter? What's important is remembering the name. But I think it's called Khamini. Not sure about it though. Manrega is the right answer. Manrega is what is now called the VBGRAMG. विकसित भारत क्या है, मैं भी फुल फॉर्म भूल जाता हूँ इसकी, अजीब सी. विकसित भारत गारंटी फॉर रोजगार एंड आजीविका मिशन ग्रामीण, दैट इज VBGRAMG. एंड इसके अगेंस्ट जो है मोशन लेके आई है झारखंड की असेंबली. देखते हैं पास होता है कि नहीं. सिक्योरिटी रैम्ड अप इन वेस्ट दिल्ली अहेड ऑफ ईद उल फितर. ईद कब की है? छुट्टी मिलेगी क्या हमें ईद की? मुझे तो नहीं मिलेगी लगता है. हमारी क्लास तो होगी. एनीवे, मूविंग अहेड. स्टेट्स बेस्ड न्यूज में कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट है हमारे लिए. स्ट्रैंडेड इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स यूज आर्मेनिया एंड अजरबैजान टू एग्जिट वॉर रैवेज्ड ईरान. ईरान में तो चल रहा है वॉर, वी ऑल नो अबाउट इट. तो जो इंडियंस वहाँ पे फंसे हुए हैं वो इवैक्यूएट और सेफली घर वापस लाए जा रहे हैं थ्रू द नेबरिंग कंट्रीज ऑफ आर्मेनिया एंड अजरबैजान. पहले सिर्फ आर्मेनिया से आ रहे थे, अब अजरबैजान वाला रूट भी खोल दिया गया है. एंड अराउंड 150 प्लस इंडियंस क्रॉस्ड इनटू अजरबैजान इन द लास्ट 24 आवर्स. धीरे धीरे हो रहा है इवैक्यूएशन. They are limiting the number of people they would evacuate the neighboring countries because of the strict checking and security protocols. 250 Kashmiri students were also stuck recently at the Azerbaijan border, and they are facing multiple issues, health issues, financial issues, travel uncertainty issues, all of these things. And some students were definitely allowed through some of the flights, but others missed their flights or lost their money due to cancelled flights or unused flight tickets. एंड इंडिया अब जो है अजरबैजान के साथ काम कर रहा है टू ब्रिंग बैक दीज स्टूडेंट्स. अजरबैजान के साथ हमारा रिश्ता नाता जो है थोड़ा सा खराब हो गया था ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के टाइम पे, बिकॉज दे एक्सप्रेस देयर सपोर्ट टुवर्ड्स पाकिस्तान, बट नाउ दे आर कोऑपरेटिंग टू रिजॉल्व दिस क्राइसिस. कैपिटल क्या है अजरबैजान की? जल्दी से बता दो चैट बॉक्स में. व्हाट इज द कैपिटल ऑफ अजरबैजान? लेट्स सी इफ यू गाइस नो योर ज्योग्राफी. They're saying I have seen too many people confuse Khomeini and Khamenei. Yes, Khamenei is the previous guy. Khomeini is the new guy. Shara is saying, sir, likes he's dead. It's not important. Yeah, that's also true. He cannot come back to correct you about the pronunciation. I heard that Ruhollah Khomeini's grandfather was from UP. That's interesting. Would have to verify that. Baku is the right answer. Baku is the capital of Azerbaijan. Absolutely correct. Armenia की capital भी बता दो chat box में. Armenia की भी बात हम कर ही रहे हैं तो. It's the capital of Armenia. All right, moving ahead. Bihar Congress seeks explanation from 3-party legislatures. Not important. Factionalism rears its head again as Congress names 4 MLAs who cross-voted in Haryana Rajya Sabha polls. Factionalism का मतलब होता है, हिंदी में बात करें तो गुटबाजी इसको हम कहते हैं हिंदी में. मतलब being divided into different factions. That is what factionalism is. And divisive politics एक तरीके से चल रही है. कांग्रेस को सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहे ये पॉलिटिशियंस, अलग अलग गुटों में जा रहे हैं. Will approach election commission over attempts to bribe our MLAs before Rajya Sabha polls, says Odisha Congress chief. Gujarat government tables UCC bill in assembly. UCC की बात हम कल भी कर रहे थे सेशन में. यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड आर्टिकल 44. Karnataka government takes up bill to check caste based killings. All right, interesting. Let's check this a little bit more. नाम जानना important है. State government on Wednesday tabled the Karnataka Freedom of Choice in Marriage and Prevention and Prohibition of Crimes in the Name of Honor and Tradition bill. That's quite a long name. कर्नाटका में इसका नाम है एवा नमवा. Okay, but that's the same thing written twice. How can this translate in Kannada to Eva Namawa, Eva Kannamava? These are different words, right? Freedom of choice in marriage and prevention and prohibition of crimes in name of honor and tradition is translated as Eva Namava, Eva Namava. That's strange. Anyone who knows Kannada in our stream, is that the accurate translation? Or does Eva Namava mean something else? I'm curious about this. Let me just quickly translate. Eva Namava in Kannada meaning. Okay, it's showing me the result in Kannada. Okay, it means he is ours. Eva Namava means he is ours. This is from a 12th century reformer called Basavan who started this political movement. Okay, now that makes more sense. This is to protect intercaste couples and honor crimes. तो उनके ऑनर में जो है ही इज आर्स करके बिल का नाम है. ओके, श्रेया हैज ट्रांसलेटेड इट फॉर अस. येरेवान इज द राइट आंसर. थैंक यू श्रेया, थैंक यू फॉर द ट्रांसलेशन. गूगल पे भी मैंने चेक कर लिया, so इसका मतलब आपको कन्नड़ा आती है. दैट्स राइट. Alright, let's move ahead. Congress candidate selection hits a wall in Kerala. Not important for us. Charge sheet filed against PLA Trio in Assam Rifles case. Alright, not important. Karnataka seeks BJP's help to ban DJ music at festivals. Very interesting. पूरा म्यूजिक ही बैन कर देंगे आफ्टर सम टाइम, citing noise pollution and excessive spending. Okay. Growing reliance on DJ music during various Jayanti or celebrations had become a serious concern. Today, processions of gods do not move forward unless item songs are played on DJs. Okay. This trend has become distasteful. Okay. Loud DJ music serves no genuine cultural purpose and called for a complete ban, irrespective of which party is in power. Crazy. Are you guys in support of this decision, banning DJ music at festivals, or are you guys against this? Against this or in favor of this? I would be very interested to know your opinion on this. DJ music होना चाहिए festivals में, processions कि नहीं होना चाहिए, पूरा ही ban कर देना चाहिए. Okay, चलो, let's move to the editorial. आप लोग अपने विचार प्रस्तुत कर सकते हैं चैट बॉक्स में, मैं पढ़ूंगा. Editorial में सबसे पहला article is regarding the NCERT book ban, a chapter on judicial transparency. We all know about this issue. 8th class की एक NCERT textbook थी which had a chapter on corruption in judiciary, which obviously was looked at very distastefully by the Supreme Court, and they took suo motu action regarding it as well. And they said that इसको हम फटाफट से जो है बैन कराएंगे, एंड जो जिसने ये लिखा है उसको सज़ा भी मिलेगी. सो उसी के अराउंड ये आर्टिकल है कि हाउ डज जुडिशियल ट्रांसपेरेंसी वर्क विज अवी अदर इशूज. एनसीईआरटी वाले इशू पे तो इन्होंने बहुत जल्दी जल्दी एक्शन लिया, बट how does it actually operate? ठीक है, we'll talk about it on the PPT. Left hand side पे we see no end to suffering. India must enlist more support against Pakistan's bombing of Afghanistan. We all know TTP और तहरीक-ए-तालिबान पाकिस्तान जो है एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो लड़ाई लड़ रही है, एंड पाकिस्तान और अफगानिस्तान एक दूसरे पे बम गिरा रहे हैं. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रहा है. रिसेंटली एयर स्ट्राइक हुई अफगानिस्तान में एक हॉस्पिटल पे जहाँ पे 400 पीपल वर किल्ड, एंड पाकिस्तान इज क्लेमिंग कि हमने तो सिर्फ मिलिट्री साइट्स पर अटैक किया, बट सीम्स लाइक कि हॉस्पिटल लाइक फैसिलिटी पे भी अटैक हुआ है. अफगानिस्तान सेड दैट दिस वाज अ सिविलियन फैसिलिटी, एंड इंडिया आल्सो कॉल्ड इट आउट, कॉलिंग इट अ कावर्डली अटैक, कॉलिंग फॉर इंटरनेशनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन. पाकिस्तान ने कहा कि तहरीक-ए-तालिबान का हाथ है इसमें. तहरीक-ए-तालिबान ने जो है डेडली अटैक्स किए हैं इनसाइड पाकिस्तान एज वेल. टेंशन जो है एस्केलेट होती जा रही हैं. रिसेंटली पाकिस्तान ने ऑपरेशन लॉन्च किया था जो मैंने आपसे पिछले क्विज में भी पूछा था. व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द ऑपरेशन लॉन्च्ड बाय पाकिस्तान वेरी रिसेंटली टू टारगेट तालिबानी बेसिस? जल्दी से बताओ चैट बॉक्स में, व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ द ऑपरेशन? ओके, लेट्स सी सम रिस्पॉन्सेज तब तक, जब तक आप लोग ऑपरेशन का नाम बता रहे हो मुझे. ये लोगों की खुशी क्यों छीननी है? रिद्धि सेज आई डोंट केयर. ओके, Kuvira Moore says against, Aryan says favor, Bhagwat says against. Chat is divided. I knew it. Such a divisive topic. Aryan is saying ban kar do, Dhwani is saying against it, against the complete ban. Regulation is good. Charmi is in favor of it. Okay. Shara is also against it. Charmi saying, yeah, it's holy. And she's in favor of banning. Siddhi's in favor of banning. Shreya is against the banning. Wow, lovely. Sambhav is saying instead of banning DJ music, they should ban certain sounds above XYZ decibels. वहाँ decibel measure करने कौन बैठेगा? Like in Shadi, the limit of decibel should be higher than usual limit. Okay. Item songs piss me off. Riddhi says. Okay. Gazab Lil Haq. Yes, that's the name of the operation. Can we get a class on Pakistan Afghanistan का conflict? अभी हो तो जाए conflict खत्म. अभी तो ongoing है. अभी तो developments चल रहे हैं. Let this come to a conclusion, then we can probably plan a discussion around it. मैं क्लास कर दूंगा, फिर और कुछ हो जाएगा नया कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में, फिर आप बोलोगे सर आपकी क्लास में तो ये आपने एड्रेस किया ही नहीं था, बाद में जो लोग देखेंगे. So that's why it makes more sense once things stabilize, then we'll probably have a overall discussion on it. ठीक है. चलो, the opportunity in Cameroon to rebalance the WTO. WTO stands for World Trade Organization. इसका हेडक्वार्टर कहाँ है, जल्दी से बताओ मुझे. Where is the headquarter of World Trade Organization? पहला क्वेश्चन ये. दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये, WTO replaced a treaty, a framework, establishment, and then WTO came into being. What was the previous multilateral, you could say, organization slash treaty which governed international trade? किसी को पता है? चैट बॉक्स में कोई बता सकता है? Yes, it was the GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs. Absolutely correct. Geneva, Switzerland is the headquarters. सही जवाब. Smart people you guys are. Okay, इस आर्टिकल की बात करते हैं. ये आर्टिकल, the context is on how global trade is changing so rapidly. It's not just about selling and buying goods. Now countries are using trade as a political weapon, as a political tool. Case in point, tariffs, sanctions, which we all know Mr. Orange here is using very aggressively. And in this situation, we are talking about a ministerial conference, number 14, WTO ministerial conference, which happened in a place called Yuan-de, which will happen in a place called Yuan-de in late March, 26 or 29 March. And the question there is that can the WTO adapt rather to modern global trade challenges? काफी सारे यहाँ पे इन्होंने questions raise किए हैं. And they talk about how the WTO is facing one of the biggest crises since 1995. First of all, the dispute system is broken. इसका जो top court, जो appellate body है, that's not functioning. So rules cannot be enforced properly. Then there is slow decision making. A lot of countries don't really agree to what the WTO says, and the issues usually stay unresolved for so many years. Third thing is the rules are also very outdated. They do not cover recent developments like digital trade, modern supply chains, all of those things. And this article again comes back to telling you how trade has become very political and power based and less rule based and more and lesser international law based rather. Countries are using tariffs as their weapons and making separate deals instead of global agreements now. So things are moving towards a power-based, system. And this is dangerous because अगर ऐसा होता है तो WTO weak हो जाएगा, weak तो हो ही गया और weak हो जाएगा. And अगर WTO weak हो जाएगा तो trade और ज़्यादा unpredictable हो जाएगा. The strong countries would dominate further, poor countries would suffer more. And this needs to be fixed. That is what the article says. That सबसे पहले तो dispute resolution system restart करने की जरूरत है, global trade court setup करने की जरूरत है, rules update करने की जरूरत है, fairness ensure करने की जरूरत है, flexibility introduce करने की जरूरत है. तभी जो है चीजें थोड़ी सी बेटर हो पाएंगी in terms of international trade law. क्योंकि अभी तो चीजें काफी ज्यादा खराब हो गई. No one is really giving a flying damn about World Trade Organization. ठीक है. TTP किसके इंस्ट्रक्शंस पे रन करता है? दे आर अ टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बेस्ड आउट ऑफ अफगानिस्तान. एंड इंस्ट्रक्शन क्या, उनका जो लीडर है, उनके जो सरगना है, उनके जो उर्दू में क्या कहते हैं लीडर को, जो भी कहते हैं, अपने लीडर के इशारों पे वर्क करता है. और किसके, अफगानिस्तान का जो तालिबान है उनके भी कभी ये साथ काम करते हैं, कभी अगेंस्ट काम करते हैं. सो ऐसे ही है, मन मर्जी के मालिक हैं. ठीक है जी. Fire and more fire. This talks about the recent fire tragedies which have happened. One of them was in Katak. Then और भी एक दो इंसिडेंट्स हुए हैं, उसी की यहाँ पे बात है. One was in Jhansi, one was in Maharashtra. तो ये कह रहे हैं कि how ICUs play a critical role in providing last minute safety and treatment, all of those things. India must treat hospital fire safety as an issue of criminal accountability. आईसीयू में शॉर्ट सर्किट हो गया था रिसेंटली कटक में, उसकी यहाँ पे बात हो रही है कि हाउ वहाँ पे इतने सारे इलेक्ट्रिकल इक्विपमेंट हैं और उनकी सेफ हैंडलिंग के लिए ट्रेनिंग जो है लोगों की होनी चाहिए. पेशेंट्स इन आईसीयूज आर सीडेटेड, इंट्यूबेटेड और कनेक्टेड टू मशीन्स. स्टाफ मस्ट बी ट्रेन टू इंश्योर देयर सेफ इवैक्यूएशन. ठीक है. इंडिया फ्यूचर डेमोग्राफिक चैलेंजेस, इसकी हम बात करेंगे पीपीटी पे. This is regarding a new report by the International Institute of Migration and Development and the Population Foundation of India. इस रिपोर्ट का नाम है Unraveling India's Demographic Future, Population Projections for States and UTs 21 से 51 तक. ठीक है, we'll talk about this more on the PPT. Children have borne the brunt of Israel-US aggression. What is new in the transgender rights bill? This we discussed in the previous Hindu analysis, previous to previous. ठीक है, जस्ट पढ़ लेते हैं हम इसकी. द अमेंडमेंट बिल प्रपोजेस रिमूविंग द राइट टू सेल्फ परसीव्ड जेंडर आइडेंटिटी, यानी कि आप खुद से नहीं कह सकते कि मैं ट्रांसजेंडर हूँ या XYZ जो भी जेंडर हो. इतने सारे हैं तो जेंडर्स हमारे पास, LGBTQIA प्लस प्लस बहुत सारे. ठीक है. सो दिस इंट्रोड्यूसेस अ न्यू डेफिनेशन ऑफ ट्रांसजेंडर पर्सन फोकसिंग ऑन सोशियो कल्चरल आइडेंटिटीज, इंटरसेक्स वेरिएशंस एंड कॉन्जेनाइटल कंडीशंस, मतलब कंडीशंस एट बर्थ. It introduces a medical board-led certification process, requires scrutiny by the DM, mandates a revised certificate after SRS, this scrutiny, and expands provision on offences and punishments. Transgender activists argue that changes contradict the NALSA judgment, which talked about self-determination of gender and could exclude sections of community and have been brought without consultation with the necessary stakeholders. ठीक है, अभी ये बिल पास नहीं हुआ है, अभी बस बिल आया है, देखते हैं क्या होता है. India's national symbols under scrutiny over use, meaning and law. Complaint against Hardik Pandya draws attention to the rules governing the national flag and the history embedded with it. As debates over Vande Mataram resurface, the discussion shows how national symbols evoke emotional responses while being shaped by law and historical tension. इंटरेस्टिंग आर्टिकल है. पुणे के एक लॉयर ने जो है हार्दिक पांड्या के अगेंस्ट कंप्लेंट फाइल करी दैट ही वाज he draped the Indian flag around his back, and then according to him he was engaged in objectionable acts in the stadium. He was basically lying with his girlfriend and chilling with his girlfriend. Objectionable, ठीक है, some people might call it objectionable, some people might call it PDA. The New Zealand cricketers were also kissing their wives and stuff, so it's not like only Hardik Pandya was doing anything which was objectionable. I don't even think it should be called objectionable. Cringe maybe, yes. Objectionable, debatable, but ठीक है, whatever. Not our position to judge what Hardik Pandya does with his girlfriend. But article interesting है nevertheless, आप लोग पढ़ सकते हो. It talks about how the Indian flag and Indian national anthem has evolved through multiple decades and through multiple Supreme Court judgments. अच्छा आर्टिकल है, पढ़ सकते हो, मजा आएगा. Supreme Court asked Bengal if ED should merely watch as CM disrupts IPAC search. IPAC is that political consultancy जिनके ऑफिस पे रेड पड़ी थी, ममता बनर्जी ने जो है इशू उठाया था. And now there is legal dispute is going between ED, West Bengal government, of course led by Mamata Banerjee, and IPAC regarding a coal smuggling case. ED का कहना है कि ममता बनर्जी जो है रेड की लोकेशन पे गई and she obstructed the investigation, she took away evidence, all of that stuff, and इसीलिए ED जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास गई asking for a CBI investigation against her and the police officers. अब लीगल क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे ये बनता है कि can ED file a case under Article 32 which is protection of fundamental rights, क्योंकि ईडी को नहीं दी जाती है फंडामेंटल राइट्स, सिटीजन्स को दी जाती है फंडामेंटल राइट्स टू प्रोटेक्ट देयर राइट्स फ्रॉम बीइंग वायलेटेड. अब वेस्ट बंगाल की गवर्नमेंट का आर्गुमेंट क्या है? उनका कहना है ईडी इज नॉट अ पर्सन, ईडी इज नॉट अ लीगल एंटिटी एज वेल, सो इट कैन नॉट क्लेम फंडामेंटल राइट्स, व्हिच इज कंप्लीटली sound as an argument, legal argument. And if ED has a complaint, they should use Article 131, which is Center versus State Dispute का article. अब ED/Center का argument है कि they obstructed a lawful investigation, so there should be some legal remedy, वरना ED तो helpless हो जाएगी, हम तो बेचारे हो जाएंगे, कुछ कर ही नहीं पाएंगे अगर ऐसे कोई भी हमारा investigation obstruct कर देगा तो. I mean, fair point, but ठीक है, I don't really think that ED इतनी helpless है as of now. अब कोर्ट ने यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन ये उठाया कि should the ED just look and watch if its work is blocked? And they said that this is an unusual situation and the law should now adapt to new situations. There cannot be a situation with no legal remedy. इसका जो है लीगल रेमेडी है ही नहीं हमारे लॉज में कि अगर ईडी का कोई रास्ता ब्लॉक करे या फिर ईडी को इन्वेस्टिगेशन से रोके तो क्या लॉ है, उसके लिए कोई लॉ ही नहीं है. अब वेस्ट बंगाल को जो रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे थे वो लॉयर्स कह रहे थे कि अगर ईडी को ऐसा केस फाइल करने दिया जाएगा तो हर कोई सेंट्रल एजेंसी जो है स्टेट्स को डायरेक्टली सू करने लगेगी एंड केस उठाने लगेगी कि फेडरलिज्म को डैमेज कर दिया है, बैलेंस ऑफ पावर डैमेज हो गया है बिटवीन सेंटर एंड स्टेट्स. ईडी की वैसे जो पावर्स आती हैं वो आती हैं फ्रॉम अ स्टैट्यूट विच इज द प्रिवेंशन ऑफ मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एक्ट, जिसके तहत ईडी का एस्टैब्लिशमेंट हुआ था, पीएमएलए जिसको आप कहते हो. एंड द आर्ग्यूमेंट इज दैट इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग is a power given to ED. It's not a fundamental right, है ना. आर्टिकल 32 तब क्वेश्चन में आता है जहाँ की फंडामेंटल राइट वायलेट होती है, which is writ jurisdiction of moving to the Supreme Court, है ना. But is investigation a fundamental right? Now the court has to decide that. Court has not given a final decision अभी तक, and next hearing is scheduled for 24th of March. The court would decide whether government agencies can use Article 32. It would be very interesting. It would be a landmark case अगर court ने ऐसा कह दिया कि government agencies के पास भी fundamental rights हैं. This case would tell us how this conflict comes to conclusion. But it would be very interesting to see how the law is balanced to resolve this case. ठीक है, चलो चैट बॉक्स देख लेता हूँ मैं एक बार. कविता is saying पर नाम में पाकिस्तान है, why are they attacking Pakistan? They're not in favor of the government. Sambhav is saying, sir, I have never been able to understand the hierarchies between proxy militias and terrorist organizations. Even they don't understand it sometimes. They keep on changing. It's very dynamic. It's not fixed hierarchies. कभी कोई गवर्नमेंट किसी मिलिशिया को सपोर्ट करती है, कभी किसी को, कभी कोई रूलिंग पार्टी चेंज हो जाती है तो फिर सपोर्ट चेंज हो जाता है. सो इट कीप्स ऑन इवॉल्विंग. यू जस्ट हैव टू कीप टैब ऑफ अभी करेंटली कौन किसको सपोर्ट कर रहा है. Bhagwat is saying, sir, is there a need to write daily current affairs? I would recommend that. That definitely helps in retention and revision. Riddhi saying, I'm an ally, but I don't understand how self-determination of gender works. See, did you follow that culture when US mein it started off? And people were self-identifying themselves as anything. Like, I identify as an iPhone, or I identify as this chair I'm sitting on. So that is kind of how self-identification or self-determination work. That you might be born as a male, you might have male reproductive organs, but you identify or you determine yourself as a female. That is how it works, self-determination of gender. कि आप determine करो आप कौन से gender के हो, because gender we all know is a social construct, right? Couch का क्या मतलब है? तो मैं आपको बताऊंगा, gender is a social construct and your sex at birth, that is a biological construct, which reproductive organs you have. So that is how self-determination works, and this right was given by the Supreme Court in the Nalsa versus Union of India judgment, and अब ये right जो है वापस ली जा रही है, so that anyone who is male cannot essentially identify as a female or vice versa. ठीक है. Kavita is saying, but what was the motive behind introducing that bill? That is what they're questioning, right? कि इसका motive क्या है? Why are they taking away the right to self-determinism? I don't really understand the motive. Seems to be counter-intuitive when you look at the judgment. चलो आगे चलते हैं. Speaker urged by minister's absence in question hour. Okay. Not important for us. No full stop in politics, says Modi as Rajya Sabha bids farewell to 59 retiring MPs. What is the tenure of a Rajya Sabha MP? जल्दी से बताओ chat box में. What is the tenure and what proportion of MPs retire every how many years? Two questions in that statement. What proportion of MPs retire every dash years? Tell me in the chat box very quickly. जिसको जो रहना है रहने दो. हाँ, मैं थोड़ी ना क्वेश्चन कर रहा हूँ. जिसको जो रहना है रहने दो. किसी को बनना है चेयर, किसी को बनना है फीमेल, बनने दो भाई. Whatever makes people happy or satisfied. Yes, every 1/3 retire every 2 years. That's the right statement. 6 साल का टर्म होता है और हर 2 साल में 1/3 MPs रिटायर होते हैं. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से पूरा एक 6 साल का साइकिल कंप्लीट होता है. Okay, cool. Lok Sabha extends terms of panel examining simultaneous polls. 2 or 3 drones sighted along India's border every day. All right. Lok Sabha applies guillotine to pass demands for grants of 53 lakh crore for ministries. Guillotine क्या होता है? Guillotine इन लिटरल टर्म्स तो होता है अ मैकेनिज्म टू गिव डेथ पेनल्टी। वो आपने देखा है ट्रेडिशनल मिडीवल यूरोप में जो है एक बड़ा सा ऐसे स्ट्रक्चर होता था जिसके ऊपर ऐसे एक ब्लेड टंगा हुआ होता था, एंड पर्सन को नीचे ऐसे लटाया जाता था, एंड वो ब्लेड फिर उसकी नेक पे गिरता था, एंड द पर्सन यूज्ड टू डाई। वैसे डेथ पेनल्टी दी जाती थी। सो दैट ब्लेड एंड दिस होल मैकेनिज्म वाज कॉल्ड द गिलोटीन। That is what guillotine essentially means in literal context, but यहाँ पे obviously the context is symbolic. यहाँ पे they are talking about the annual budget process which the Lok Sabha approves every year for spending of the different ministries, and हुआ क्या है, लोक सभा ने recently 53 लाख करोड़ expenditure के लिए approve किए हैं using a method called guillotine। तो उस method को भी guillotine कहते हैं, which is passing the budget without detailed discussion। So दो मतलब है, इसलिए मैंने आपको दोनों मतलब बता दिए। That is the generic matlab and this is the political matlab. This is a concept where the budget is passed, the budget demands are passed without detailed discussion, without any debate as such, and only two ministries ka budget was debated, one was agriculture and one was railways। तो government का view जो है कि ये है कि government is working to improve farming, irrigation etc। हमारे जो agricultural minister है जो वो थे सीएम थे किसके, एमपी के, शिवराज सिंह चौहान। ही इज आवर एग्रीकल्चरल मिनिस्टर एज ऑफ नाउ, and he said that old irrigation projects are now being stalled, and some of them are being revived under the new initiative which is the PM Krishi Sinchai Yojana। Krishi is related to farms, Sinchai is irrigation, that is Sinchai, and Yojana is scheme, and the goal is to expand irrigation to 2.7 million hectares of लैंड। तो इसके लिए काफ़ी सारे रिफॉर्म्स भी लेके आ रहे हैं, ये नया पेस्टिसाइड बिल लेके आ रहे हैं, नया सीड बिल लेके आ रहे हैं, ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स। एंड ऑपोजिशन ऑफ कोर्स जो है प्रोटेस्ट किया इसके अगेंस्ट, सेइंग दैट कॉम्पेंसेशन नहीं मिला अभी तक अफेक्टेड फैमिलीज को जो फार्मर प्रोटेस्ट में जिनकी जान गई थी। सो या दैट्स प्रीटी मच व्हाट दिस आर्टिकल टॉक्स अबाउट, कि लोकसभा ने जो है बिना डिस्कशन के डिमांड्स फॉर ग्रांट पास कर दिए। 8 dead as EV explosion sparks fire in Indore house। House panel terms vacancy situation in UGC critical। ठीक है, not important for us। Double engine faces test in Puducherry as India's stability pitch meets opposition attack। Double engine मतलब you know स्टेट या यूटी की गवर्नमेंट भी बीजेपी की एंड सेंटर की गवर्नमेंट भी बीजेपी की है, इसलिए डबल इंजन कहते हैं उसको। जैसे दिल्ली में देयर इज अ ट्रिपल इंजन की सरकार काइंड ऑफ, कि म्यूनिसिपल लेवल पे भी बीजेपी है, स्टेट लेवल पे भी बीजेपी है, एंड सेंट्रल लेवल पे तो बीजेपी है ही। ठीक है, नॉट इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर अस, तो स्टेट पॉलिटिक्स जरूरी नहीं है हमारे लिए। डे आफ्टर क्विटिंग कांग्रेस इन असम, सीनियर लीडर प्रद्युत बरदोलाई जॉइंस बीजेपी। नाइस। प्रोटेस्ट erupt in Bengal over Trinamool poll picks, axed MLAs mulling retirement। Mulling मतलब deliberating। China-bound Russian oil tanker diverted to India, Aqua Titan carrying 7.7 lakh barrels of crude, makes a U-turn in Southeast Asia to reach Mangalore port. Analysts say ship is a part of dark fleet, mostly controlled by the Russian state. Center tells airlines to curb extra fees for seat allocation. Thank God. This was really messed up. मिडल सीट के लिए भी पैसे चार्ज कर रही थी एयरलाइंस द लास्ट टाइम आई बुक माई फ्लाइट, एंड अगर आप कोई भी सीट सेलेक्ट ना करो, रैंडम एलोकेशन हो, तब आपको जो है पे नहीं करना होता सीट सिलेक्शन के लिए। बट इफ यू मेक एनी प्रेफरेंस, ईदर द आइल सीट और द विंडो सीट और द सेंटर सीट, यू हैड टू मेक सम और द अदर पेमेंट while booking the ticket, which I believe was unfair. So good job by the center. They have directed airlines to make at least 60% of seats on every flight available for selection at no additional cost beyond the airfare, following concern that passengers were increasingly being charged for seat allocation. Fair enough. India showing steady progress in reducing child deaths and amid slowing global gains. So that's a good thing. Child deaths are reducing. A sale of books and making of prasadam by temples, industrial activities, asked Supreme Court. तो पिछली बार हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि डिफेंस ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में अगर कोई कैंटीन चल रही है तो वो इंडस्ट्री के एम्बिट में आएगी या नहीं, तो वही जो है उसी से रिलेटेड डिस्कशन यहाँ पे हो रहा है। एक्टिविटीज लाइक पब्लिकेशन एंड सेल ऑफ बुक्स, कैन दिस बी कंसिडर्ड एन इंडस्ट्री? दैट इज व्हाट दे आर डिटर्मिनिंग। अभी देखो, अभी तो केस चल ही रहा है, we'll find out. Plastic goods prices to rise 60% as war impacts polymer. Polymer also uses crude oil for its manufacturing. Prices of polymer derived from crude oil and natural gas have risen by 50-60%, creating margin pressure. Plastic manufacturers managing with stocks procured prior to West Asia war outbreak. खाने में भी अब जो है रेस्टोरेंट्स आई वाज ऑब्जर्विंग लॉट ऑफ सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट कि रेस्टोरेंट जो है एक्स्ट्रा एक चार्ज ऐड कर रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ एलपीजी शॉर्टेज. एनीवन ऑफ यू हु फेस्ड extra prices due to LPG shortage while eating out or ordering something? Center offers 10% additional LPG to states UTs that fast track the CGD network. All right, CGD is City Gas Distribution Network. ठीक है. Analyst forecast cut in oil firms earnings. Solar ingot plant to take off June. Producers make a pitch for increasing ethanol. Cabinet OKs 33,660 crore. Bhavya plan for 100 industrial parks. I'm sure this has a crazy full form. Bhavya, let me check. Bharat Audyogik Vikas Yojana. Okay, that's fairly simple. Audyogik is industrial. Vikas is development. So that is the Bhavya initiative. 33,660 crore for development of 100 plug-and-play industrial parks across the country. All right, CCI, which is Competition Commission of India, gets 1719 crore to pay support price. Oh, this is Cotton Corporation of India. CCI ये भी है. Okay, my bad. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has approved the funding of Cotton Corporation of India to meet the MSP, minimum support price, for cotton season. All right. Mostaba Khamenei says murderers must pay for killing Iran's Larijani. Mass burials expected for victims of Kabul drug rehab center. Indonesia arrest 4 military officers. Scottish Parliament rejects bill to let terminally ill people end lives. Euthanasia. अभी recently हमने भी एक केस पढ़ा था हरीश राणा वाला where passive euthanasia was once again upheld as per the Common Cause versus Union of India case of 2018. I hope you guys remember that. Important है वो हमारे लिए. Israel conducts waves of attacks on Beirut. Beirut is the capital of Lebanon to strike river crossings. Israel targets densely populated areas like Bashora, Basta, Zukak al-Blat in strikes. Lebanese authorities report at least 12 deaths, 41 injuries, including Hezbollah's Al-Manar TV director. 912 killed and over 1 million displaced in Lebanon. Sri Lanka to welcome and support refugees, says Minister Bimal Ratnayake. Cuba vows unbreakable resistance. Fire and fury hit Trump's MAGA tent. Wants Vikes the tightrope for 2028. JD Vance is currently the Vice President. Capital need to deliver at optimum. ये IPL का अलग अलग टीम्स का डिस्क्रिप्शन आ रहा है रोज because IPL is going to start 28th of March. Senegal stripped of AFCON title. Morocco declared champion. AFCON, I think, is the Africa Cup of Nations. Yes. ठीक है. PSG, Real Madrid, and Arsenal march into last 8 with easy wins. All right. Quality of balls under the scanner at the National Table Tennis Championship. Okay, that's about the newspaper for the day, folks. Let's come back to our PPT and discuss the remaining 3 articles. Chat में क्या चल रहा है एक बार देख लेते हैं. Sir, is offline mocks available at CL in Raipur? I'm sure they are. Raipur has a CL center. Yeah, they would definitely have it. एक बार सेंटर पे जाके आप कंफर्म भी कर सकते हो या सेंटर को कॉल करके कंफर्म कर सकते हो, बट आई एम 99.9% श्योर दैट दे डू हैव इट. फ्रेंच हथियार. What if they fall under the ambit of industrial activity? Will they be taxed? हाँ, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. They would be required to follow all the guidelines which an industry has to follow. Taxation related भी and compliance related भी, regulations related भी. All of those things. कविता सिंह बाहर ही नहीं जा रही मैं. ओके. ऑफलाइन मॉक्स अवेलेबल एट रायपुर. हाँ होंगे यार, बिल्कुल होंगे. इंडिया भले काम ना करे, नाम भारी भरकम रखते हैं. यार दैट्स ट्रू. क्विज स्टार्ट होने वाली है. क्विज कल होगी यार. अच्छा, क्विज टेलीग्राम वाली स्टार्ट होने वाली है. कोई नहीं, उससे पहले फ्री कर दूंगा मैं आपको. Why is dying by one's choice viewed under such a negative light to point that the state is not allowing you to die? I mean, there are ethical arguments against it कि अगर आपके पास जीवन देने का वो नहीं है, कैपेबिलिटी नहीं है, तो आपके पास किसी का जीवन लेने की भी कैपेबिलिटी नहीं होनी चाहिए. That is what the argument is. और भी बहुत सारे फिलोसॉफिकल आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हैं। कौन से टेलीग्राम चैनल पे? CLLST का जो ऑफिशियल टेलीग्राम चैनल है, 7,000 समथिंग सब्सक्राइबर्स होंगे। आप सर्च करोगे तो आपको मिल जाएगा CLLST डाल के। ठीक है, चलो जल्दी से स्टार्ट करते हैं, आपके क्विज का टाइम होने वाला है। इंडियाज फ्यूचर डेमोग्राफिक चैलेंजेस, अ न्यू रिपोर्ट by International Institute of Migration and Development and the Population Foundation of India, titled Unraveling India's Demographic Future, underscores the demographic risks that are beginning to surface nationwide. Our population is projected to increase to 1355.8 million. आसान भाषा में बोले तो 135 करोड़ in 2021 to 1590.1 million, which means 159 crore in 2051, with an average annual increase of 0.5%, suggesting a prolonged period of slower population expansion. The projection point out that pre-primary school-going population 0 से 4 years is expected to dwindle, मतलब go down from 113.5 million to 8.6 million by the middle of the century, यानी 2050. As the demographic dividend largely depends on working age population, a relatively higher proportion of this group can lead to faster economic growth, a dynamic evident in the development phases of several countries like China, Japan, and Korea. India is one of the largest workforces in the world, rising from 833.8 million in 2021 to almost 1,000 million in 2041 before declining to 998 by 2051. This is an impeding concern that the demographic dividend window will close after 2041, highlighting the urgency of leveraging it before its contribution to economic growth starts to diminish. Nevertheless, close to 6 out of 10 people in the country are expected to be part of workforce by 2051. You guys would also be in that 6 out of 10 people, which is an encouraging sign. However, India's population is aging. In 2021, our elderly population stood at 130.5 million, or almost 10%. By 2051, this is projected to reach almost 20%, highlighting there will be a profound increment in the aging population. The declining child population is expected to offer a better teacher-pupil ratio and expand infrastructural facilities in schools. Further, declining birth rates reduce demand for maternity care, allowing the healthcare system to rationalize the use of resources to offer better quality care. Though fertility levels have been falling, continuing investments are required for family planning and to prevent unintended pregnancies, as well as reduce infertility and ensure reproductive rights of women. NCRT book और judicial transparency की बात कर लेते हैं. We all know about the complete blanket ban introduced by the Supreme Court on the book published by NCRT. The three-judge bench, presided over by the Chief Justice, further alluded to an underlying agenda to undermine the institutional authority and demean the dignity of judiciary. Court subsequently ordered the persons responsible for preparing should be disassociated from future projects by governments and public universities, instantly punish them without due process or hearing. उनसे पूछा भी नहीं गया कि भाई आपकी क्या statement है इस पे. Prohibition by the court is problematic as it sends critical signals about the shape of India's democracy today. By itself, a book ban is the most egregious form of censorship. Such a move directly impacts the right to freedom of speech under Article 19, a solemn promise in the Constitution. This right could be restricted only by law made by the state on grounds expressly expressed in Article 19 Clause 2, which is the exceptions to freedom of speech and expression. उसमें क्या क्या है? Sovereignty, integrity of India, security of state, friendly relation with foreign state, public order, decency, morality, and contempt of court, defamation, incitement, offense. There's no law made by the state to justify the ban on the book in question. Judicial orders on judgments do not come under the realm of law made by the state, as understood in the context of Article 19, which was set in the case of Naresh versus State of Maharashtra. For an act to amount to contempt of court, there must be materials that scandalizes the authority of court or prejudices or interferes with the judicial proceedings or the administration of justice, as defined in Section 2C of the Contempt of Court Act of 1971. So, author का कहना है कि as per the definition of this act, this should not be contempt of court. In K. Veeraswamy versus Union of India, court categorically held that judges of High Court and Supreme Court fall within the definition of public servant for the purposes of prosecution under Prevention of Corruption Act, while also cautioning against potential of misuse of this provision by the executive. Therefore, the need to eradicate corruption and delay is also in the best interest of the judiciary. In the interim order, where they banned the book, the court also pointed out that the book also chooses not to delve into any of the transformative initiatives and measures pioneered by this court towards overhauling legal systems and mechanisms, streamlining the ease of access to justice. आसान भाषा में, और उनका कहना है कि हमारी तारीफ क्यों नहीं करी, हमारी इतनी सारी तारीफ जो बनती है वो क्यों नहीं करी. The first step in fighting systemic problems like corruption, whether in executive or judiciary, is acknowledging it. And that is what the court did quite proactively. India showing steady progress in reducing child deaths, says a report. Estimated almost 5 million children died before their fifth happy birthday in 2024, including 2.3 million newborns, according to the latest estimates by UN report on child mortality. The report released on Wednesday said that most of these deaths were preventable with proven low cost interventions and access to quality healthcare. The report was called Levels and Trends in Child Mortality, added that under 5 deaths globally have fallen by more than half since 2000. Since 2015, this has slowed by more than 60%. But India is among the countries showing steady progress in reducing child mortality through sustained public health efforts. The latest UN Interagency Group for Child Mortality Estimation report states that the status of neonatal mortality, matlab mortality at birth, reduction in India has shown progress. Health Ministry added that over the past 2 decades, Union Health Ministry added that India over the past 2 decades has played a pivotal role in reducing child mortality in South Asia region. In its release, they said that NMR recorded a decline since 1990, and India had an NMR of 57 per 1,000 live births, which fell to 17 in 2024. यानी कि 1,000 जो live births होते हैं उसमें से only 17 do not survive. Only तो नहीं कहना चाहिए, 17 do not survive, but it's still much better than 57. Also, the under 5 mortality rate witnessed a sharp fall. In 1990, it stood at 127 per 1,000 live births. Now it's 27. That's a major improvement. The sharp reduction is due to targeted public health interventions, improved institutional delivery, and expanded immunization coverage. ठीक है, यूएन की रिपोर्ट ने कहा कि estimated 2.1 million children, adolescents and youth in the age of 5 to 24 died in 2024. Infections and injuries remain leading causes. Mortality data fails to capture severe acute malnutrition as a cause of death, showing that burden is likely underestimated. Some of the countries with high number of direct deaths from malnutrition are Pakistan, Somalia, and Sudan. Newborn deaths account for nearly half of all under 5 deaths. Leading cause are preterm birth and complications during delivery. Beyond the first month, infectious diseases like malaria, diarrhea, pneumonia were major killers. Malaria remained the single largest killer in this group. Most deaths occurring in endemic areas of sub-Saharan Africa. जल्दी से वोकैब कर लेते हैं आज की. टेलीग्राम को इसका टाइम हो रहा है आपके. द फर्स्ट वर्ड इज लिसिट. तो इलिसिट आपने सुना होगा, उसका जो उल्टा होता है that is licit, which means lawful or not forbidden. She made money by illicit means legitimate, permissible, admissible. Ulta is illicit or illegal or illegitimate. The next word is qualm. Qualm मतलब होता है एक uneasy feeling of doubt, worry or tension about your own conduct. Misgiving, doubt, hesitancy. He felt no qualms about borrowing money from friends. मतलब कोई hesitation नहीं हुई उसको. Certainty, assurance, conviction are antonyms. And the last word is languor. Languor का मतलब होता है आलस. State of feeling often pleasant or tiredness or inertia. Lassitude, lethargy, listlessness. He remembered the languor and warm happiness of those golden afternoons. मतलब बस पड़े रहना है आराम से मस्ती से. Vigor, enthusiasm, vivacity are antonyms. Languor is lethargy. Qualm is hesitancy, doubt, and licit is lawful. With that, we come to the end of today's discussion. We'll resume tomorrow's discussion on Hindu analysis at 8 p.m. And after that, we'll do our quiz. Not allowing you to create an account to join quiz. Try to refresh it once. Ashita is saying, I have some doubts related to prep. Can you tell me how can I contact you? Just drop me an email on my email ID, which is govind.singh@careerlauncher.com. ठीक है, चलो कल मिलते हैं दोस्तों क्विज में. टाटा, बाय बाय, टेक केयर.